Go back to that. What did you just buy? You just got.
I didn't buy anything.
That is a Holy Lance.
Oh, cool.
Hey, what are we playing? What are we doing? What's going on?
We're
playing Dragon Quest Heroes.
Dragon Quest Heroes.
Look at how glorious it looks.
Ben knows how to read high in EA.
Yep, I know yes and no in Japanese, which is going to be enough to carry us through this entire game.
I can read some other things that you don't need to know.
Come on, Bosman.
Let's check the chest.
The things that you do need to know, I probably can't read. A little bit of reflections. Do you see the reflections on your back and farther in the distance?
Sub-example account.
The shadows?
No, the reflections.
Sup, Wolf?
Where do you see the reflections?
Like right under
Mike Hook, RHD.
Oh, sure,
Ants-Man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Thanks for
Veterans.
around, everybody.
Yeah, sorry.
Is that Healy?
Sorry, we're late. We had a lot of trouble.
Oh, no, that one has a crown.
Getting started. Kyle Bossman really pulling through.
Woo!
Whoa!
Now we're blind.
Now we're blind.
Good.
We've been playing Bloodborne too long. We can't look at this light.
We got this heal slime though.
Yeah. Well, that's not Healy because it has a crown of some sort.
No, it's a heal slime.
Well, it's not Healy.
Right, that's true.
Hey guys, that's what it looked like. Right
Oh,
now.
isn't it beautiful,
Awesome.
Nirvana? Thanks, Kyle.
It is beautiful. This is a gorgeous game.
That's a nice looking door.
It's giving me hope for the
Post
future of this
Bill,
franchise.
He's one of those signs. Hey, she's familiar.
These guys are both from Dragon Quest IV.
Ah, that's why they're familiar.
Good job, RHD. What's up, Delcast?
What's cool about Dragon Quest Heroes, it's the first time a lot of these characters have been voiced. So
kind of a Kingdom Hearts situation.
Here we can watch. Yeah, that's true. Should we watch a cutscene?
Yeah.
Watch a cutscene.
Watch a cutscene?
That bottom right one, because it looks like fire.
Bottom right. Going
right.
Bottom right.
Let's shut up.
Where is Sazanami style when you need him?
Absolutely.
私が知る限り、そういう名前の町はこの世界に存在しないの。では、私たちは別の世界に迷い込んでしまったと。落ち着いてよ、クリフトン。とにかく私たちが追いかけてる泥棒がこの世界にいることは確かなんだから。しかし、姫様がどうしものことがあってはこのクリフトン。
Look as big as hers. Maybe like this.
I
think your eyes are that big, Huber.
I saw this weird thing where people were having surgery done to look more like anime characters. Have you seen that?
Gross.
It freaks me out a little bit.
It's gonna come out here, Mike Hook. Confirmed. No date yet.
Yeah, no date yet. Well, this is undoubtedly probably cool if we could understand it. There's just nothing.
Hey, you picked the cutscene. We could have seen some castle fly in the sky or something.
This one's pretty good.
Do it.
Let's do the good one.
Okay.
Why do we do the one where everyone's standing around talking to each other?
Here we go. A beast approaches.
Is that Healy? I wonder if it is.
The music in this series is untouchable.
Yeah, not on top 10 soundtracks. What are your thoughts on that? Makes me sick, but I'm not bitter.
I feel a little sick right now.
Yeah, I'm not bitter about it
right now.
Don't worry.
All right. We've messed around with the cutscenes long enough. We will get going. First, I want to buy a drink from this lovely woman. Oh, this you just pick your party. I think I picked the right crew here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Absolutely.
I think it's cool that the tavern is always where you select people usually in Dragon Quest games. It's like that in Dragon Quest 10 and 9 as well. Let's venture forth. We have a lot of different missions that we can do. One story mission and then a bunch of side stuff. Do you think we should just proceed with the story?
Proceed. Yeah. Nice, Wolf. Good stuff. Death by Figure says hello to all of us.
Oh, hello!
Hello! I'm probably not going to be here very long. I just popped in and see what's up.
You can translate for us.
I'll see if I find words.
Anyone have advice for the first Bloodborne boss? Absolutely.
Don't worry about dying the first time.
Yeah, don't worry about...
Because then you can actually prepare.
Dying ever. If you shoot him in the face with a gun repeatedly, he will stagger. And you can go up and you can do a visceral attack on him.
Yeah. I got my next to last hit with this dagger.
The pistol is very good for that.
That's what it's called. Visceral attack.
Visceral attack.
The
Yep,
attack.
visceral attack.
There we go.
The other big thing about the cleric beast is stay behind him all the time. So you will get hit if you stay behind him, but his attacks do far less damage. So what you want to do is don't try to go behind him when he's backed against one of the sides. Lure him out to the middle of the bridge, get behind him, get a couple of hits in, and then run away. And then just keep repeating this, trying to use your blood vials as sparingly as possible. You will succeed. If you have a weapon like the Hunter's Axe that can hit his head, even from behind him, that will give you an edge because you can do a visceral attack.
And also, Molotovs are great to have on hand.
Molotovs are great to have on hand. In fact, you can pretty much kill him with Molotovs if you want to. Just spam him, and he will die.
Well, don't just spam him, because I mean, spammed him and I missed quite a few. I probably could have gotten better.
Obviously hit him,
yeah.
Yes. So, this is a Muso game, meaning
yeah. We're playing this. We're not playing Bloodborne.
You just hack and slash. But the thing that you want to keep track of is, you see those towers? They have a life bar to them, and if they run out, you lose. And the trick to it is there are these flashing red points. I'll get to one right now. This guy, you want to kill all of these guys because enemies will repeatedly come until you kill them. Another cool mechanic of this feature, and is kind of a hallmark of the Dragon Quest franchise, is you can summon bros to help you. Like I just summoned that giant rock golem.
Golem. I like how you say golem.
Golem.
Like that.
Now we got a new
Rick
one.
and Robo asks, this or Hyrule Warriors?
Vastly prefer this.
Yeah.
What I like about this is I feel like more things try to give it a Dragon Quest vibe. In Hyrule Warriors, you upgrade all of your things in just like a menu outside of a mission. Here, you actually go back into a hub. You can talk to people. You can interact with them. It's got more of an RPG vibe to it, so I feel like it's truer to the franchise than Hyrule Warriors.
Well, yeah, speaking of that, I also feel like this looks more like Dragon Quest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Hyrule Warriors, because Zelda doesn't have a consistent art style, it kind of does its own, and it feels a little weird.
It feels more Tecmo Koei than Zelda.
Yeah.
Something that bothers me about this and Hyrule Warriors, though, is in both instances, the unique bad guys look like they belong in a Dynasty Warriors game. Like, they don't even try to make them look like they belong in Dragon Quest. They don't have an Akira Toriyama style to them at all. And you know, like the very voluptuous witch in Hyrule Warriors? I don't like how she looks either. I don't think she belongs in the world. If you could kind of keep track of chat for me, that would be great.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's on the other side of the couch. Hubert abandoned us without even saying a word.
I don't know what happened.
What's happening, chat? Alright. Silver monster coins are like summons. Gold monster coins will fight alongside you in independent area, says Sazunami style.
Yes. Yes, I did figure that out.
Delcast loves how artificial this looks. I think
artificial.
He's probably talking about just like the cartooniness of the characters, you know, it's like there's something just completely classic about Dragon Quest characters where like no matter how good they look, they still look the same, you know, like they just they nailed it the first time around.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Something that frustrates me about the early Final Fantasy games and the early Dragon Quest games is anything on the NES, you know, you look at the Japanese art for Dragon Quest 1 and 2, 3, and 4, and even on the PS1 and SNES, it doesn't look like Akira Toriyama art. Outside of maybe in battle a little bit, like when you're in the overworld and things like that, I really don't think it captures that style. Like this, you know, this is perfect. This is one of the best looking games that I've played on PS4. I feel like it just looks so clean. Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic.
Okay, so here's a tough question.
Okay.
What Dragon Quest game would you recommend someone to start with? I would kind of, I mean, maybe it's my bias, but I would kind of say 4.
Why would you say 4? That's interesting.
I love 4. I think one of the things 4 has going for it is that number one, it's interesting because of the way that they tell their story is very unlike any other RPGs of the era because it has a really fully fleshed story, but you continually, like, you go through like somebody's chapter, and then all of a sudden now you end up playing with somebody new, and then you kind of start over from level 1, and you have this all new story, and you go through these chapters before everyone kind of gets together into a caravan. And then it just feels so great, like, once you get back together with those people that from the first chapter, it's like, oh, I forgot all about them. And what also I think is why it's a better starting point than, say, 8 is it's not overly long. And as much as I love 8, by the time I got done with the main story, I really didn't want to do any side stuff. I was done. It was like 130 hours or something like that. It was like, okay. I'll you know, one day I will look fondly back upon this, but I'm tired now.
Maybe I'll get that going.
You got some compliments on tabletop.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was really happy with this week. I hope people enjoy it. I feel like a significant amount happened with the story, and I think next week is going to be insane with the Neb-Hogger duel. You know, I feel like Dragon Quest doesn't get a lot of credit for its stories the way other RPGs do in the West, which is really a shame, because you're absolutely right. I think for the time, Dragon Quest 4 and 5 were extremely ambitious and impressive. 5 with its multi-generational storytelling, that was a very unique thing. The only other game that I can think of that attempted that was Phantasy Star 3, and I don't think it was nearly as successful. So this is a new ending.
I love those guys.
I mean, new that I fought here. Yeah, I haven't fought here yet.
What is that? Elixir. Nice.
But honestly, I would say that the best Dragon Quest to start with is 8. That's the one that hooked me.
Yep.
I tried playing other ones first, and it's just because I think it does a better job of getting you into its world immediately. Like, Dragon Quest 4 and 5 started slow for me. I felt more attached to the Ugly King and Yangus more immediately, and the situation with his daughter. So.
Well,
I
started with the first one, of course, but I haven't played, you know, every single one. So there's a lot I would love to catch up on. But yeah, the original, I mean, that was one of the first RPGs that I'd ever played. I mean, it was still when Japanese RPGs were first coming to the States, so it was very much a new, risky idea at the time. And I remember just like being in love with the instruction manual was almost more like a player's guide. It had like all of this great art and stuff in it about all the different weapons, and really brought that to life rather than just having a bunch of text on a screen. Like you kind of felt like when you got this cool weapon, like you could look it up and see what it looks like.
Why do you guys think Dragon Quest never really took off in the West the way it did in Japan? What was it about the series that didn't click with people?
I don't know.
Because
no angsty melodrama? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that, you know, like maybe it is that. It's that weird like prejudging of like the cartoon style. I don't know. None of it makes any sense to me.
Yeah.
I wonder if I just don't think Dragon Warrior 1 is a favorable comparison when compared to Final Fantasy 1, because, you know, in Dragon Warrior 1 you're just a lone hero and you can kind of do everything. You can do magic. You're really good with weapons. You can get all the armor and everything. There's not a lot of customization where you look at Final Fantasy 1 and the job system and all of the different ways that you can progress through that game and all the different things that you can experiment with. I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but it just seemed more complex at the time. What were you going to say, Hubert?
I was gonna say maybe like Final Fantasy X taking off so much with its cinematics, you know, and its visual flair versus Dragon Quest VII at the time. You know, people just the newer generation like aligned themselves with Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really good point, because you think about the time Dragon Quest VII came out, and it looked like an SNES game, you know? And on the PS1 at the time, that wasn't acceptable. I mean, comparing it to Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX, which were technical showpieces, Dragon Quest just couldn't compete.
I think I think it has a lot to do with that gap, and for whatever reason, NX not translating 5 and 6, you know, like it kind of lost the audience in a way, because, you know, obviously it did well enough for them to continue to bring out 2, 3, and 4 on the NES, and they seemed like a big deal to me. I have no idea what the sales figures were, but yeah, then it kind of disappeared, and it, you know, sort of randomly, oddly came back on PlayStation, and as you said, didn't feel like it was a modern game.
The only thing is Dragon Quest VIII at the time, especially, and even still today, looked so excellent. But mechanically, it was very rooted in the past. So I don't know. I'm not saying that as a negative, but I don't know if that had anything to do with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is that perception that a strictly turn-based game is somehow negative or outdated, and it's just, you know, it's not true.
Damiani hates turn-based, right?
He doesn't hate turn-based. The way that he phrased it to me is that he's just kind of been there, done that, and he wants new experiences, which I can totally relate to. But I've never been of the mind that one thing has to come at the cost of another.
Exactly.
Like, I would be sad if every JRPG was turn-based, but I feel like we actually have an incredible amount of variety. I mean, when you compare, like, the Tales games to Dragon Quest to Final Fantasy, like, contemporary RPGs have a ton of diversity. You throw Bravely Default in there, Xenoblade, all very different styles of games, some more similar than others. Yeah. But, let's get rid of this guy.
Blair wants to know if it was only ported to one system, what system should it be ported to? Dragon Quest VIII.
PS4.
PS4.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Although, honestly, it's like, as I was saying earlier today, if you just made it HD like this, you don't have to do anything to it. Just make it HD, and I'm fine. I don't care what system you're on. You know?
God, I would full play through that game in a week. Just non-stop if Dragon Quest VIII HD ever comes out.
What I really like about this and Hyrule Warriors to a lesser extent is there was a period of time where I feel like Omega Force was doing licensed properties extremely poorly. Like, I think all of the Dynasty Warrior Gundam games are not very good. I think Fist of the North Star game is not very good. But it seems like with this and Hyrule Warriors, they're making more of an effort to capture the nature of these properties. And they're putting more effort into them. Or at least it's what it feels like. And as a result, it's kind of made me reconsider Musou games. Like, I don't think I could play this for 10 hours straight, but every time I pick it up, I have fun. Like, look at this.
Yeah. I think because it's Dragon Quest games.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, Dynasty Warriors, it's the same, like, military,
but I love
Nobunaga stuff each time, you know?
Right. I mean, how many times can you tell the Romancing the Three Kingdoms story, you know? This guy, which Dragon Quest is he from? Is he from 5?
I want to say it's 4.
He might be, I think it's either 4 or 5. I feel like Dynasty Warriors 3 is still, like, maybe the best one. What's up, Kyle?
What's the problem?
It's gonna change the title of the stream.
Oh, gosh.
Didn't say it before, but
Oh, sorry.
It's got a bunch of flies.
Hubert, you think Dragon Quest VIII is the best JRPG
ever made.
And
definitively.
What can you just for the people at home once again reiterate what it is you love so much about Dragon Quest VIII?
First and foremost, characters. It has the most likable and For me, at least, it's all. Remember, everything is so personal taste, but
Yeah.
none of the characters feel wasted, and I connected with their motivations for being on the journey more than any other JRPG I've ever played.
Yeah.
Everyone had a legitimate reason to be on this journey.
Right.
And the economy and the exploration specifically feels so meaningful. So many JRPGs give you a ton of gear. Exploration doesn't feel as valuable because of that, because you have so much gear. But because you're limited, because the game is difficult, going out and exploring that vast world feels so rewarding.
What, you're lounging too much?
Too much.
Man, you're on here.
I'm on air.
We're talking about Dragon Quest.
I think you're absolutely
combat's
right.
so
It's
tactical.
the angle.
Enemy design, the world, the towns, it's the perfect package.
It really is.
Gets me hyped.
It is one of those RPGs where they don't like pull you along and then eventually give you the world. I feel like you're dropped into this enormous place right away, which is cool. I love these guys.
You know what's cool about that shot is it looked like a battle scene.
Yeah.
The way the three of them were aligned.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. Very good call. The other thing about Dragon Quest VIII, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, is I feel like a lot of JRPG stories are convoluted for the sake of it, where they think intricacy is always necessarily compelling. Like, they just add layers on top of layers on top of layers to the point where you just kind of don't care anymore.
Go for it.
What I like about Dragon Quest VIII is I feel like everyone is fleshed out and developed, but it never gets ridiculous. They're never like doing a twist for the sake
because
of
it's not about the plot. It's not plot driven. It's character driven.
Right.
There's the main enemy who's doing his business for personal reasons, and then all of the other sub stories are the characters and why they are chasing him down.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Like, it's easy to follow along in a good way.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many JRPGs get away from that. And that is something that is Square started.
So much about the freaking l'C and I'll-C.
Yeah.
So much plots.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 13 is one of the worst offenders, but I feel like there are other games as well.
There we go. Here's our guy.
Here's our guy.
Gosh, the looks of this game are unreal.
They're unreal. And this is an intense fight.
Looks better than Bloodborne.
This is cross-platform is the other crazy thing.
Everybody's low HP.
Everybody low.
Where are you going, Kyle?
Behind schedule.
Uh-oh.
Alright, got
Here to hear live, GT time behind schedule.
Yeah, I'm not dodging at the right time. That's on me. This is the hardest thing I've had to do in the game yet. Everything else has been kind of easy.
Yeah, I feel like it's side quest time.
Yeah, we might have to do some side quests.
Yeah.
I feel like a few extra levels would be good.
Yeah.
What happened with the leak? Oh. I don't know exactly why she didn't want to screen. Maybe just because the mandatory update needed going late.
Arigato.
I know she asked yesterday if somebody was able to screen in her place.
Probably something to do with Benson or dog.
No. Blame everything on the dog.
It's usually the case, though.
Oh, all these
I thought
guys
that
have,
was one health bar for all of them.
This is looking a lot more dire, so we should
Yeah.
focus.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Cool fight.
It is a cool fight.
Oh man, Dragon Quest 8
so
too,
these
monster
guys
arenas.
are just called killer machines.
Oh, that's awesome, actually.
This is Killer Machine
I feel like
3.
they're doing a lot of damage.
The monster arena in Dragon Quest 8 blows my mind away. It's
Thank
so
you for the
awesome.
heal.
And then you can like recruit the monsters and have them fight on your side.
Yeah, Captain Fuzzy Pants, I wasn't a fan of Tales of Graces either.
I like the combat
But
in
there,
Tales of Graces.
there
There
are
is-
the one with
definitely
Richard?
better Tales games.
Yes, there are, absolutely.
There's Tales of Graces with Richard.
I don't remember the main
Hey,
character's name.
Richard!
That's something about Tales games
It's a
that I will
bizarre
say, without hesitation, is boy are those stories forgettable. A
So
lot of the
forgettable.
time. And I feel like that
Even
wasn't always the case.
Symphonia and Vesperia, to me, My two favorites.
I feel like they're better than most, but yes,
even
then, it's not great.
Yeah, I mean that's the best that series has to offer in my eyes. Symphony, the best one, and it's still like.
When did I learn Japanese? Never. I know some Japanese. I don't. But like when it says Killer Machine up there, it's literally just saying Killer Machine. It's just written in Japanese characters.
Kira Machine.
Yeah.
Katakana.
Kira Machine.
Thank you. That's
Healing
all I need.
slime.
Yeah, healing slime. Please help me.
But I had 2 Japanese college courses.
Whoa.
Now they're getting
Are you shaking
more
that
difficult.
camera?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And about all I managed to about all I managed to retain is just basic.
So this guy has unlimited HP. If he could just go in and distract him.
Tank it.
Where's Healy at?
Reading English words that are written in Japanese. That's about what I can handle right now.
He's gone.
Is there a cooldown for him? Probably.
Jump. Nice.
Oh. Come on, Healy.
There weren't hundreds of JRPGs on PS1 and PS2 or 7.
But boy, that felt like a really good time. Huh? Man, I really want to beat these guys.
Yeah, this is getting a US release.
Okay, so that's pretty easy to dodge. This is 1, 2, 3. If this guy can just stay on him while I dodge their bullets. Okay, we got this.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. They actually have their numbers on their shoulder pads. That's kind of cool.
Is everyone else dead? Except me and this guy. Come on, this time.
Oh, no.
So does the heal slime just randomly come down, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. We're good.
He's warning you to dodge when they do their combo attack. This is like a custom character just for this game, right?
Yes, this guy is.
Did you name him?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. What did you name him after?
I think I named him either GT or Ben. One of the two.
It's just his, like, Akuta.
Oh. Maybe I just typed in something random. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. Okay. Normally I do GT or Ben in Dragon Quest games. But...
Citizen Enemy Cell says there were actually 278 different RPGs released on the PS1.
How many?
He says 278. Why? Wait, what is... Somebody's asked... I'm mad I didn't ask a question. I don't know what question he's referring to. Missed it. We don't know what happened to Elise. She just asked somebody else to stream yesterday. Sorry. We will do Life is Strange just played early next week, though. Huber's got to play it.
Yes, very excited. Really, really digging it.
So this guy gets stunned a little bit after he does his huge sword spinning attack. So he shoots with his bow, and he has a huge sword spinning attack. If only I had more people left alive. There we go. Okay, so he's gonna do this. Goes quite a ways.
Don't send me sad faces, just type the question again. I'm sorry. Maybe if I can find it.
What do we got, Bloodworth?
Trying to get it on Twitch as well. I hate that our chat is so small.
Oh, yeah?
It's so ridiculous.
Oh, do we deserve another Ark the Lad game?
I like Ark the Lad. It never blew me away, honestly, but those were games that I played and enjoyed.
I know of Ark the Lad, but I haven't actually played it.
I want to see. I bet in this down state, my super would do a ton of damage to this guy. Okay.
So then I saw saying that you actually don't name your character.
Are you sure? Well, I'm almost positive.
Well, he has the Akito as the default name.
Maybe I just gave him the default name, but I almost thought you could. All right, let's do this.
You probably just skipped through it so you could start playing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because I had to play this a little bit before GT Live.
Oh, people are bringing up the Atelier now. We were talking about that earlier today.
Yeah, so Atelier is a series that I have always meant to get to, and people want me to get to it. I'm going to play a bunch of those games, and we're going to do a huge Just Played on the entire series.
One day.
One day. No promises to win. But that's a series that always seemed really, really cool that I've never played. Another big one, another sin of mine, is Disgaea. I've never played Disgaea.
Disgaea is super long though, isn't it?
There we go. Yeah, Disgaea is huge.
Style recommends Theater Rhythm Dragon Quest.
So I would have already imported Theater Rhythm Dragon Quest. It's just the 3DS isn't region locked.
Oh, I didn't realize they put that up.
The 3DS is region locked?
Yeah, you'd have to get another 3DS.
Yeah, I'd have to get a Japanese 3DS, and I just don't have the money for that.
Good job on that fight, by the way. The odds seem stacked against you.
I just had to cheese it, pretty much.
It's weird that they did. It's weird that they did a separate game because they've been putting out so much DLC for Theater Rhythm that's not even Final Fantasy.
Do we have any other questions about Dragon Quest specifically or Dragon Quest Heroes? What are your... Okay, I have a question for you guys, since we're talking about things that I've missed.
Jay Kerwin, though, wants some PS2 JRPG recommendations.
Oh.
The Wheelhouse.
Oh.
Dragon Quest VIII.
Done.
First of all.
Final Fantasy 12.
10 and 12.
Yep.
Done.
Other big ones.
PS DOS.
PS DOS. There's so many. There's so many that my brain is being flooded. I've heard enough good things about Disgaea that I would recommend that. Also, this one's a little bit more obscure, but Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter is one of the coolest, most unique JRPGs that I've ever played.
You guys are hilarious to me right now.
Shadow Hearts Covenant! Shadow Hearts Covenant!
Persona.
Yes,
finally!
Persona.
I've been sitting here waiting for you guys to say the word Persona because it hasn't even been spoken.
Anyone that's suggesting Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, you are the love of my life. I think Nocturne is as good as any Persona game, if not better. I wouldn't suggest it for new time players though. It's not that hard if you know what you're doing, but if you don't, it is brutal. It is a brutal game to the uninitiated. I think ones to start with that would be really good would be Final Fantasy X or Persona 4. So.
I don't understand these things that Square does. This is apparently a European promotion that they sent me. I don't know why I'm on that list. But anyways.
Trophy hype.
Vodka shots.
They're doing this like weird surprise basket thing again.
Digital Devil Saga is also great. The Devil Summoner games are cool.
Also, I'm reading chat on my phone, buddy. Calling me out.
Huber's reading chat. He's asking questions. He's doing good stuff. Nocturne is the get good RPG. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm torn between Persona 4 and Bloodborne.
Yeah, I don't understand. We were all... Kyle just jump in, like, see something for 2 seconds.
Yeah, Master
Get out of here.
Troll at work.
Troll at work. We gotta give Vodka Shots a subscriber song.
It's being phased out.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Song's being phased out.
Are we gonna do something?
Panda Sami says Rogue Galaxy.
So...
Excellent.
I'm not a
fan.
Why don't
you like this game?
Everything about Rogue Galaxy felt really flat to me.
Whoa.
I just felt very kind of whatever. There was nothing about it.
So you had a Fallout 3 situation.
Yeah, I had a Fallout 3 situation. The world didn't interest me. I didn't find the characters especially fantastic. Blood, do you disagree with that?
What's that?
Just
the whole Fallout thing. I don't know. I don't. There's so many of these games I haven't played.
We've got Terry.
As much as I would love to.
He seems cool. I have not played Dragon Quest 6, actually. Have you?
6 is the only one I have not played.
I haven't played 2, 3, 6.
I haven't played 6 and 7 actually. Can't find 7. It's like hundreds of dollars.
I'll bring it in for you. I'll bring it in.
7
I've got
what?
a copy of 7. Dragon Quest 7. We killed that boss.
Man,
Feeling
they're really
pretty
that
good.
much now? It kills me because I remember seeing those things. They're just like corner stores going for nothing.
Look at this sword!
Dragus
Look at this
Ganja
thing.
has a good
Cool.
question. Why isn't this coming out on the Wii U? Because the Nintendo Dragon Quest Alliance has run its course, and now it's time to move on.
Huber might be a little bit bitter.
Not bitter. No.
that.
So,
Okay.
so Dragon Quest 9 and Dragon Quest 10 were Nintendo exclusives. I know Dragon Quest 10 eventually came to PC, but now more than ever that PS4 is doing well. Dragon Quest has not been on Sony until this. Since
Right.
Dragon Quest 8, it's time to come home. Dragon Quest,
And as much as I like Dragon Quest 9,
even though it originally
and I
was
like
on Nintendo.
Dragon Quest 10, I feel like Dragon Quest has always been at its best kind of on Sony, and I'm partially just saying that because of Dragon Quest 8.
No, and 7 though. 7 and 8.
7 is really good. I like 8 way more than 7. But let's do a side mission. What do you say? Let's check those out.
Orange Blah says Dragon Quest has always been a portable system since that sells in Japan. I disagree. They did a Japanese poll a few months back asking which console would you like to see Dragon Quest 11 on, and like 70% said PS4, and the next after that I think was Wii U at like 15%, and then it was down. So next Dragon Quest coming to PS4.
And
I feel it.
Dragon Quest Heroes has been really popular in Japan to the point where they noticed a substantial bump after Dragon Quest Heroes came out in PS4 sales. Perhaps that's not very surprising, but still, that's a good sign that people are willing to buy PS4s for Dragon Quest, and the PS4 has not been doing...
They absolutely will.
Yeah, but the PS4 has not been doing well in Japan.
Sazanami says the same thing. Gonna be on 3DS. I disagree. It's coming to PS4 exclusive. Lock it in.
We just want to believe that. I don't know what either of these two people do.
0% chance
What do you
Dragon
mean?
Quest 11 is
What do
not
these people do?
a console game next. There's no way.
That's quests. So she says it's got something to do with quests.
Yes, she absolutely does. These are all quests.
If Dragon Quest 11 is another 3DS exclusive, my mind will explode. There's no way. There's no way.
Would you be upset?
I'd be so bummed.
I mean, it's
I'd
hard
be so
looking at
bummed.
this Muso game that looks like the way you've always wanted Dragon Quest to look like,
Yep.
and then you get something on a handheld. And I love handhelds, and I love JRPGs on handhelds. Persona 4 Golden looks fantastic, but
It needs to be the biggest Dragon Quest ever made. PS4 exclusive.
Biggest.
Here we go. Get huge.
The biggest graphics.
Massive
biggest
world.
graphics.
Bigger than Dragon Quest 8.
Only available on curved screens.
She's got new orbs for me, I'm sure. Yes, she does. Look at that.
RHD, I agree with you. These two definitely will not. He
What?
says, do you think Bethesda RPGs suffer from the too big of a world syndrome? He thinks they're cool and that they have big worlds, but they feel hollow and boring. They have nothing living in the worlds, and they all feel bland. 100% I agree with you. What do you guys think?
I think that's a little harsh. I do think there is merit in that style of design. There's something appealing about, like Skyrim, for instance.
There was the most lived in that they've done.
Yeah,
guys.
they keep getting better. There was a period of time where I was playing Skyrim for 3 months, and I felt like even at the end of that third month, there were places that I hadn't been, whole towns that I hadn't seen, quest lines I hadn't been involved in. Sure, they may not be quite as intricate as some of the stuff in a really well-crafted JRPG, but I like that, you know? However, I will always prefer JRPGs because what I don't like about Bethesda RPGs is sometimes it just feels like stuff is there to be there. You just collect things, you just kill things. It doesn't always have a purpose. Whereas I feel like in Final Fantasy VI, everything is there for a reason. Everything makes sense. To a degree. That is not a flawless argument by any means, but I feel like it's more true than that.
Yeah, I mean, actually, speaking of Fallout specifically, one of the things I yeah, I definitely would disagree with your sense of a living world because I really dug when. I mean, sometimes it could be a pain if there was like, you know, something in the way. But I dug that like sometimes when somebody said that they were going to like go across to, you know, from this town to another town, you could actually follow them, and if you weren't careful, they could get attacked by monsters and they could die. There were times where I would just like be walking across the wasteland, and I'd come up on this body, and it would have a name, and I'm like, oh crap, who is this guy? I have no idea. He got into some fight with some monster while I was looking in the other direction, and I wasn't there to save his life. But one thing I will say, and I've definitely felt this more in Skyrim, like caves and dungeons felt kind of randomly generated copy-paste. Like a lot of the times I felt like any cave I would go into was just another cave, and I would get kind of tired of that.
Yes.
What was interesting though is that like once you got to a certain point in the game and you started accessing new areas, like the regions feel very distinct from one another.
I also agree with that. Can I just say how encouraging it is that it feels like Japan is back on the rise? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the universal acclaim of Bloodborne is really encouraging, and I really like Dragon Age Inquisition, but Dragon Age Inquisition doesn't really feel like it's pushing Western RPGs forward. It doesn't feel like it has a lot of new ideas in it. It's just done really, really well, and it's huge. Whereas I feel like, you know, the Final Fantasy 15 demo, it's like, wow, not all of this is perfect, but they're really trying to do something new. And
that demo that you installed on the home account, not the work account, that's so you can play it.
I can bring my piece for you to play it. I will not withhold it from you. What other Japanese game did I play recently that felt that way?
What other Japanese game did you play recently?
There was another one.
Deus Ex in the chat.
Deus Ex.
Somebody wanted to know, it seems kind of funny question. If,
Persona 5.
Persona 4 was, if it's still worth playing if they don't have the Vita version.
What?
Persona 4.
Yes, absolutely. Golden is the definitive version, make no mistake, but do not underestimate the PS2 version. It's great. And in fact, I actually prefer the original voice actors for Chie and Teddy in that version of the game. If that is all you can play, go for it. Don't feel like you're missing out. I think the PS2 version is still an excellent version of the game. It's just not 16:9, which is kind of annoying.
Man, Delcast and I finally agree. He doesn't like the Bethesda games because they're quantity over quality. I agree with you, Delcast. We're on the same page for once in our lives. Remember this moment.
Oh my god.
Sometimes it's hard for me to tell which games Delcast likes.
Yeah. I wonder. Who knows?
I feel like
I don't think he likes any games. I don't think he likes video games.
A lot of the stuff we've been talking about, like he doesn't like Ori, takes issue with some Bloodborne stuff, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. I just
Delcast, what's your favorite game?
What's your jam, man?
What's your game, Delcast? Give us one.
Am I missing something here? I feel like
this is a Ben question. Pillars of Eternity, isn't that out today?
Yes, Pillars of Eternity is out today.
You haven't got to play it yet because of retro.
I've played 2 hours of it.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Sweet.
I think Baldur's Gate 2 is one of the greatest RPGs ever made, and this is the closest thing since I've gotten to that game since then. If that means something to you, absolutely pick it up. If you like Divinity Original Sin, absolutely pick this up. I think I might like this more than Divinity, and I fought tooth and nail to get Divinity on the best RPG list last year. So yeah. I don't think you will regret spending your money.
Yes.
Also, there have been no technical problems reported by anyone. It seems like that game is really, really solid.
Oh, nice.
Delcast's favorite game ever. You ready? Journey.
That's a great game. I love Journey. There's not a thing about Journey that I would change. 10 out of 10.
Rosamund says, Ben, you say every game is the greatest game you've ever played.
Yeah, you're right. I am a little bit much with some of that stuff. That's why I like writing as opposed to speaking. I feel like I'm able to be a little bit more articulate and discerning in writing.
A little more grounded.
But, you know, you say something and just my impulse is to be like, yes, it's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you on that.
That's just how I am expressing my enthusiasm, so don't take it literally.
Delcast also likes The Last of Us and Dark Souls. So he just has caviar taste.
You're not gonna believe this, guys, but it is
the best of the best.
Yeah, the best.
3 minutes until 7. What time did you actually start?
Like 5 or 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like we're not accomplishing a lot here.
We're running out of time somehow.
We're smashing monsters. That's what it's about.
Monsters, yeah, and it looks gorgeous.
And you love Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
So only 10s for Delcast.
I'm going to do what I just did, but honestly and truly, Silent Hill 2 is one of the best games that I've ever played. I love it. I love that story.
Oh yeah.
I love the atmosphere. It is just incredible.
Sean C says Xenogears is his favorite game ever.
If Disc 2 of Xenogears were as good as Disc 1, I could maybe get into that.
You're about to be stoked. Saw Tsunami style. Baldur's Gate 2 and Knights of the Old Republic are the only really great games BioWare ever made. Come at me, bros.
Baldur's Gate 2 is unbelievable. If any of you have the chance, there's an enhanced edition on Steam. Play that game. It holds up so well. If you can get over the isometric old Infinity engine looks, it is. Have you ever played it, Huber?
Baldur's Gate 2, of course.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
Okay.
I was young, so I don't remember much.
It's also kind of a difficult game.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I ever finished it, but I played a shoot ton.
Yeah.
On my PC.
And it's funny because I respect but don't really like Baldur's Gate 1.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like the pacing is there the same way that it is in 2. There's a scale to everything in 2, and it's just written better.
Bent Wiener asks if we are into Japanese film at all.
Yeah.
Yes, I prefer Japanese films more than Japanese anime, actually. So.
How do you feel about Japanese horror movies?
Some of the best.
What is your favorite one?
Horror.
The Last of Us is in no way, shape, or form a 10 out of 10. I would agree with that.
The Last of Us is not a 10 out of 10?
I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I'm upsetting you right now.
It's a 10. Japanese horror movie.
Which games don't I like? Oh, I don't like a lot of games. I was just saying to these guys earlier
Can
today...
I count Audition as a horror movie?
Yes, absolutely. I think Audition is a horror movie. I hate Metroid 2. Hate it. I think it's a disgustingly bad game.
Stop.
That world feels like it's just copy and pasted from one room to the next.
Here comes Bossman again. Ben, I feel like you burn your super state a little fast. Backseat Bossman!
Here's why I'm burning the super state, because nothing in here is challenging. So I just wanna mix it up a little bit. These guys are posing no threat. I've pretty much been at full life this whole time.
Alpha Grade, I love you. Shenmue 2 is their favorite game of all time. CDJ Gamer says The Last of Us is a strong 8.9. I agree to disagree. One of the greatest games ever made. Easy 10 out of 10. Thank you very much.
I think Last of Us is a 9.
A 9.
Yeah. The Last of Us is a 9.
Alright. I'm gone before I get heated.
No, don't leave. Don't leave.
7 o'clock, everyone.
Don't leave.
Time to go.
Oh, I upset Huber.
Yeah, I'm offended. I think it's 10.
No, that's great. It's a great game.
Remember, a 10 to me is not a perfect game.
No, absolutely.
You can always find one NPC like glitching out in pretty much every game you play.
I think it's a futile thing.
So,
10 to me is just the highest recommendation.
Which I would hand over fist say The Last of Us is. I would tell any hardcore, casual, and non-gamer to play The Last of Us above any other game ever made. Anyone. I would say play Last of Us.
Do you think Last of Us is better than Dark Souls 1?
Better. I like it more.
Really?
Better is a is a weird thing. Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Agree to disagree.
I like Bloodborne more than Dark Souls already.
Do you like? Good to know you, Huber. I hope Ian's not watching the stream because we'll never see you again.
I know. Controversial. I love The Last of Us. I'm sorry.
Do you like Last of Us more than Bloodborne?
Guess what? Last of Us is a 10. Dark Souls, also a 10.
Dark Souls
can coexist.
Dark Souls is a 10 out of 10 to me.
Dark Souls is a 10.
I actually think Dark Souls has huge issues.
Super Mario Galaxy.
But
is a 10.
What it does and what it did for me trumped those.
Yep.
Without question.
Yep.
Especially the PC version. Okay.
A lot of talks about 10. Yorzimir, do I think a 10 out of 10 is something anyone can enjoy? Absolutely. If it's 10, Last of Us, anyone can enjoy it. Unless you're Ian Hinkerley Swans, who try to actively not like it. Out of spite.
They're not the only people who that can.
I feel like it's spiteful, but from the... they've admitted it.
I mean, as we talked about Vibe the other day, it's... I mean, it's 10 out of 10 still doesn't mean that everyone's going to enjoy it.
Did I keep my...
But I mean, I think that those games... Like, when you're talking about that score, you're talking about a score that's going to be... A game that's going to be pretty much timeless and very... Almost has to be revolutionary in some way. You know, like I think one of the ones that we were thinking would probably be likely a 10 out of 10 would be Link's Awakening.
Yeah, I think...
Like, there's... Not only is there very little fault in that game, but it's got one of the most, you know, heartfelt stories in a Zelda game, despite not really having that much of a story, but you still manage to get connected to everything in that world.
Would you give it a 10?
Link's Awakening? Yeah, absolutely. I think what's really important to compare in Link's Awakening is think about Super Mario Land, that first Super Mario Land. It's not a great game. It doesn't even feel like Mario.
Right.
There's something about it that's off. It feels like a knockoff. It feels like a compromised version. On a very limited platform that was even underpowered when it came out. And you think about Link's Awakening and how well they captured Zelda and how full that world feels. It's an incredible achievement. Incredible. Like, I don't think anyone adapted their game to the Game Boy as well as Link's Awakening. It's unbelievable. The original Game Boy.
Horsmere, Bloodworth, by that logic, is Galaxy 2 inferior to the first one?
In some ways, I mean, the originality, you know, was in the initial idea, and then, but I think what's funny to me is that a lot of people, I hate the 1.5ers, like a lot, because that was sort of the initial idea was that yeah, they were just going to expand on first Galaxy. But then it became that, you know, they had so many more ideas with what they could do that, you know, it really became its own game, and you can see that they really did hone in and perfect it. So it's weird because I kind of feel like, in a way, like if Galaxy 2 had been that first iteration, that it would have achieved that 10 out of 10. But then because it's, you know, it does repeat some things. Maybe it didn't feel as fresh, but you know, it's a weird argument for sure.
I hate that argument. I hate the original, fresh, new. It's like nothing after it can be as good because it did it first. Oh, it bugs me.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily doing it first. I mean, it's just how well it did. I mean, like you could have been the first. Like, because like I know people like talk about other games that did whatever upside down mechanics, but it's like no, like it was not like at that level that Galaxy did. Like it did it, and it did it in a way that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, like I'm not even sure, you know, what really held it back on that score. You know, maybe something like really weird, but you know, I mean, it was an amazing game, and it came out in a year of like Mass Effect and BioShock and I think GTA 4 was that year.
2008 was GTA 4.
Was it the? So it was GTA? Okay, GTA 4 would have been a little later then. But anyways, but there were like a bunch of really awesome games that came out that year. But like Galaxy was our game of the year, and it was not even a question. And I think to me, that is one of the biggest tells with a 10 out of 10. To where like when you have a bunch of experienced people in a room, there will be some people that maybe don't feel it, but for the most part, like everyone's like, yeah, okay, you know, it's you don't get it as much disagreement.
It makes me sad GameTrailers over 10.
I don't think that's true. I don't agree with that.
Galaxy is a 10.
So the reason
Galaxy 2 is a 10.
The reason I prefer Galaxy 2 to Galaxy 1, Galaxy 1 is an incredible game. But what I don't like about Galaxy 1 is I felt like I really wasn't challenged until the post game at all. Like there was nothing in that game that really pushed back. Whereas I feel like Galaxy 2, while not a difficult game, I felt like it had a better curve to it, to where I felt like it pushed back a little bit harder, more immediately.
And the other thing it did really well was the end game bonus really rewarded skill.
Yeah.
Whereas like to me, play again as Luigi was like, okay, well, he doesn't control as well. I don't know. It wasn't that appealing to me to just play through the game again with a different character rather than, I remember like some of the stars in Galaxy 2. I'm just like, you want me to go where and do what?
Yeah.
How do I get
stars.
that thing? Man?
I love that.
How much of a bummer is New Super Mario Bros. 2 and New Super Mario Bros. U? Well, technically very, very good games. I feel like after New Super Mario Bros. On Wii, I sort of had my fill.
Yeah.
They went back to that old style and sort of did it again, which was cool. But there was not enough in New Super Mario Bros. 2 or New Super Mario Bros. Wii that really impressed me.
I think it was too much too quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
They kind of cranked a couple of those out in a few years.
Yeah.
I also don't...
Because they're easier to do.
In a way, I don't feel like they're as tight control-wise either. I feel like they're because of the multiplayer, they're a little bit intentionally loose. And even like the level designs, it kind of fall victim to that as well. That they're made to be a little bit easier to deal with in the chaos.
Blood, can you do me a favor?
What's that?
Sorry, I did waste my super there, Kyle, because I was reading chat. Can you see what Kyle and Sazami style are talking about?
What?
Sazami style?
Sazanami style?
Sazanami style?
They're just talking about first 15 and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
I didn't know if they had like any import recommendations, it seemed.
Kyle and I both agree that Tropical Freeze is a 10.
Tropical Freeze?
No.
Tropical Freeze is an incredible game. I'm so glad that you guys got into it because I kind of forgot about it.
It's a real good game.
It is really, really good. Alright.
I think it's perfect at what it does. It's a platformer. It's a perfect platforming game.
Couch.
Single or co-op. The best in the genre, Tropical Freeze. Should be a 10.
Give me 5 10 out of 10 games right now.
Me?
Michael Huber. 5 10 out of 10.
Currently or like of all time?
Just 5 that pop into your head.
I mean, that's easy. You could just be like, Ocarina of Time.
Be creative. Be ones that mean a lot to you.
The Last of Us is a 10.
Okay.
Deus Ex, the original, is a 10.
Good choice. Excellent choice.
I don't agree with either one of us. Okay.
Oh, you don't think Deus Ex is a 10? The original Deus Ex? Boy, I sure do. That is when I agree with Huber.
The original StarCraft is a 10.
Okay, I can see that for sure.
Especially multiplayer.
Okay.
Flawless.
You've got 3. I like the PC representation as well. That's awesome.
Galaxy 2, hands down, 10.
Okay.
Bloodborne is a 10.
What? No.
That was a troll.
Oh my gosh.
And Tropical Freeze.
Wait,
yeah.
What you had Deus Ex,
Mario Galaxy 2,
Last of Us, StarCraft, and Tropical Freeze. Number 10.
Yeah.
I like it. Those are Huber 10s. They're not just like the generic, you always hear these are the greatest things ever 10s.
10s.
Cool.
Justifiable. Like, Evil Within on my scale is a 10, but
yes.
but like, grounded,
I want your scale,
unbiased
I want your scale.
critique of a game, couldn't give it a 10.
9.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bloodworth?
Oh gosh.
But those I would fight for 10s. I'm not even kidding. If I'd reviewed any of those games I just said, I would have given them 10s. Will not hesitate. I will not hesitate.
I think Metal Gear Solid 1 for me is a 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
No one is going to agree with me on this, and I don't care, but I think Phantasy Star Online is a 10 out of 10. Phantasy Star Online, the original, on Dreamcast. What else? I think Dark Souls 1 is a 10, to me. So it's 3 games. What else do I have?
Persona 4.
Persona 4.
Easy.
Yep, absolutely. Easy. Easy.
Easiest.
Easiest 10. What's another one? To me, Counter-Strike 1.6 is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a 10 out of 10. There's 5.
Yeah. I was thinking about saying Counter-Strike. Absolutely.
All shooters are lesser to me because of that game.
It's a flawless game.
I love it.
It's flawless.
Blood is. They're saying you're mad right now.
I'm mad? No, I'm just. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard for me.
Name a 10, Bloodworth.
It's hard for me to come up with it, but because you're saying not the easy fix, but I mean that's
give me a 10.
Those are the ones that I gravitate to. Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time for sure.
Yeah.
See, now I have a question.
What's up?
I should pick Terry.
Looking back, those are retroactive 10s. We look back at them.
Yeah.
Give me a 10 right now, bro. Will you ever be in the moment? Will a game ever be a 10 in the moment? Or will it always be a nostalgic look back?
What does it have to do with a nostalgic look back? Those games were freaking mind-blowing.
But would you have, if you had reviewed it at the time, would you have given it a 10?
Probably, but I mean it's hard because I wasn't even the same experience. I wasn't even barely writing at that point.
Yeah.
But those games changed everything. It's like I think even though it seems kind of weird, like in a way, I think like Tetris is probably a 10. It's like what are you going to do? Like everything that they've tried to improve with Tetris is not really improved it. It's just kind of like giving people weird ways of making it easier, or competition or whatever.
I love this 10 out of 10 chat out of nowhere. They're saying The Witcher 3, 10 out of 10.
I mean, I am eyeing it, but I don't know. Like there's a few things in there that I'm worried about, and hopefully will be addressed. But if like we were saying, like it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, right? Like if they pull off what I think they're trying to pull off with the size of the world that they are, like then I think it could be possible. And for that reason, I'm probably going to try to get Ben to play another copy of it while I'm playing through it, so we could discuss things, because I don't want to just, I don't want to give it a fanboy 10 out of 10. Like, we can't. Like, if we're gonna give it a 10 out of 10, like more than one person has to agree on that.
So Bloodworth, you actually bring up a really good point, and I know it's just words, so it's kind of hard to believe, but when Persona 5 rolls around, I'm actually really nervous to review it, because I think everybody's going to say, like, oh, you just blindingly love Persona, of course you would give it a super high score. And it's like, no, I think because we care about it so much, we're prone to be critical, like you said.
Like I reviewed Evil Within, I give it a 9.
Yeah, and I think,
fair score.
Yeah, I think you were very fair there, and you acknowledge its problems, and, we're not perfect, obviously, I'm not trying to say that either, but just because you love something doesn't mean you can't evaluate it properly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing,
And you're going the extra mile of comparing with somebody, and I would want to do the same thing.
I think it really, like a lot of it comes down to, it's like you as a reviewer, and that's why it's kind of hard to like when people want to do reviews or whatever. It's like, well, I have to be able to trust that you can detach yourself a little bit,
right.
Because it's, you have to be able to evaluate a game. Sometimes, even if you don't like a style or a vibe or that kind of thing, because I personally will never care for GTA.
Right.
But when Brandon gives that game a 9.8, and I look at it, and I look at everything that's going into it, and everything that it's doing, and the amount of detail and everything that's involved, like I can't really argue against it. It's a really incredible game from top to bottom.
I absolutely agree.
But just because of the theme and subject matter, I just don't get into it.
Yeah, I'm a little cautious about Witcher 3 because Witcher 2 let me down a little bit.
Really, I love
the way they were advertising it, the way they were marketing it. They were advertising it like what Witcher 3 is going to be, huge, massive open environments, and when it came down to it, it was like 3 or 4.
I don't remember anyone really talking like this. Massive environments.
That was my interpretation from everything that I had played in The Witcher 1 leading up to The Witcher 2 as well. So. Nervous.
But yeah, I think one of the big things that The Witcher 3 seems to be attempting, which has been what I've been wanting out of games, especially open world games, for a while, is having side quests happening, having there be stories and threads and things to follow that maybe don't even necessarily tie into the main story, but it's its own thing, it's its own set of characters. It's not just a checklist for you to go grind.
Totally.
So I think that's really a big deal. I think the creature design and stuff so far has looked phenomenal. We'll have, I think kind of like Bloodborne, like I'll have to put some real time into combat to see how I like what they're doing with that. But it's been promising so far.
I gotta head out.
Okay. We're gonna end this. Somebody said, do you think hype influences review scores? No, but I think sometimes during big games, you do really second guess yourself. Like Bloodborne, I knew that I was going to give it a high score as I was going through it, and that thought never changed because it impressed me all the way to the end. But I was terrified. I was like, man, I wonder if everybody else will feel the same way. And it was nice to see that I wasn't the only one who liked it as much. Not that I would have changed the score at all or what I was saying in the review, but sometimes you don't know if something is just appealing to you and not to everybody else. So.
But yeah, and this year is a crazy year. I'm
gonna save, and then that's probably going to wrap it up for us. What I've learned about this game, this is a game that I want to go home, get in a PlayStation party in, just have a conversation and slash away at some monsters. It seems like it's really good for that.
This game rolls.
Yeah. The side missions seem kind of generic and whatever, but at least the story missions are throwing cool enemies at me.
I agree with you, Beardless, too, about Witcher 2's focus. All the side quests were meaningful.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, Hubert and Bloodworth, for the interesting conversation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was not going to be here this whole time, but